Welcome
to the joy of coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 156 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. Welcome. Gonna be hacking on some Firefox. Stuff today, as per usual. No surprises there. I'm gonna try. You know, it's been a very intense couple of weeks, at least for myself. There's just been a lot going on, so I'm going to try this week to kind of go back to my roots here with, you know, the name, The Joy of Coding. The original intent was to kind of try and capture some of the magic of The Joy of Painting by Bob Ross. And I've gotten away from that a little bit, and that's okay. But this time I'm going to try and get back to that a little bit with sort of the same soothing, calmness that Bob Ross has in his Joy of Painting series, which if you haven't seen, you should totally check it out because The Joy of Painting is great. So I'm going to try and tap into that a little bit today. And let me know if that's better or not. Do you prefer when I'm calm like this? We'll see. Let's share my screen. Well, today is November 7th, 2018, and hey, no plan survives breakfast. I said I was going to try and be calm and relaxed and smooth and everything was going to be chill, but that might not happen. I might forget. I might start getting excited and then just start, being loud again. If that happens, that's okay. It's our journey together. We'll just see how it goes. Also, none of this is pre-planned. Things might go wrong. I might, get stuck down a rabbit hole. That's okay too. You're capturing me working in the raw. Let's talk a little bit about this agenda here that we're looking at. This agenda, which with all these like handy, fancy links in it, this is something that you have access to. So if you're watching this on YouTube, it's in the video description. If you're watching this on AirMozilla, check the handout section. And if you're watching this on Twitch, I'm going to drop it into the Twitch chat, which I forgot to open. So let me open up the Twitch chat. I have joined the Twitch chat, and here you go. There's the agenda. I just put it in the Twitch chat. Go check it out. And there's also a link in there, a handy link to rate the episode after the episode's done. Let me know what you thought. I read everything that comes in. It's a great way to send feedback if there's anything. Maybe this calm voice is not what you came for. Maybe this is, you want to see me all excited and worked up and, a little louder. Or maybe this is exactly what you needed on your day. Maybe you're having me play a little bit in the background and you'd prefer I just kind of chill out and we can just sort of work on problems in this quiet way together. That's a useful piece of feedback too. Let me know. I've tried this experiment before and I'm trying it again, so we'll see how it goes. I also want to quickly shout out that there is an episode guide. There is an episode guide to The Joy of Coding, and we have all the way to the last episode, episode 155. This is all user-submitted, user-driven content that is submitted through GitHub, and this episode guide is pretty handy. It will contain links to the bugs I worked on sometimes, maybe notable things that occurred. Like, for example, last week I hit something like 13,000% CPU usage, which was very strange. But there's video proof. I have a feeling macOS was just lying to us. And handy links to some of the stuff that I might use and whatnot, as well as links to the agenda and the video itself. Some of the older episode guides are a little more sparse, but that's okay. Maybe you feel like sending your own notes. Maybe you want to go back and watch episode 1 and fill in some notes about stuff that occurred and maybe information that I forgot or addenda. You can do that. You can send a pull request to the repository, and if you're not sure how to do that, the links in the agenda here will explain what those things are, hopefully. There's also a contributing guide if you just want to know what commands you need to type. And here's another guide for creating pull requests. That's Smurf D, who is a prolific contributor to the Joy of Coding episode guide. That's the one he used and recommends. So, before we dive in, a quick self-check. Is everything working? I'm just going to look here on my VU meter and check OBS. I'm recording. You can hear me. I'm not dropping frames. I've got sound effects. I'm not going to play any of the really loud sound effects today. I'm going to try and take it easy there. But who knows, I might forget. All right, let's get started. Well, first of all, I want to quickly update you all on a bug we were working on, I think, was it last week? We can actually check the episode guide. Yeah, we worked on it last week, and I think we also brushed on it the week before that, where the password door hanger wasn't showing up when using custom tabs on Firefox for Android, when Firefox for Android is set as the default browser on Android. And I eventually figured out what was going wrong there. It turns out some of the Gecko view code stubs out an object called gbrowser that is exposed on, I guess, exposed in the main window. It stubs out a couple of functions, and whenever we detect gbrowser in the code that runs the parent process's password dialog stuff, we check to see if gbrowser exists, and if it does, then we call this function on it. And for various reasons, it seems like Gecko View stubs out gbrowser, and it just needed to implement this function. So we were making an assumption that anything that implements gbrowser implements this function, and in the Gecko View case, it wasn't. So the solution was to implement the function for Gecko View, and that was pretty straightforward. And the patch landed, and I am now waiting for an uplift request to get that into Firefox 64, because that's the first version that was affected. So I've got 3 hours ago, I put an uplift request to land this on the beta branch. It's a pretty simple patch, but we're going to need, unfortunately, there's obviously no automated testing here, otherwise we would have caught it, which is a little unfortunate. I'm not entirely certain how one would write an automated test for custom tabs like this. I'd hope that our mobile development team might have some tips for me on how to do that, but for now, this is what we've got. So we're going to need to do some manual testing. Our QA team will have to do some manual testing on that, but my own personal testing ended up showing that this was the right solution, or at least a solution. Okay, so what do I want to work on today? Well, there are a couple of things that we could work on. The first one, let us see here. So very recently, I landed a patch. I landed a couple of patches very recently, one of which splits out ActivityStream into its own content process. That was one patch. And the second one rejigs how we do tabs and title bar layout, which should improve the performance, especially on lower end hardware, for opening windows and rendering the first window. And because we were doing a lot of like hacky JavaScript measurement in the parent process, and now we just rely on CSS to do the work for us. So that's good that those things landed. What's bad is that there's been some fallout. So one piece of fallout from the ActivityStream patch is that, let's see, separate. The fallout is that there is a session restore regression on Linux. Pretty serious one. 12% here, 9% here, all on Linux session restore regressions. And I was going to investigate those, but then it turns out, the first step to investigating a regression like this is usually to get profiles for the good and the bad case, and then examining the profiles. But unfortunately, getting profiles from session restore was broken. So that was a dependent bug. This seems to have been broken by some recent work to make all of our Talus tests use the web extension APIs, which it mostly does, but we seem to have broken the profiling case. So that's one thing we can work on, is fixing up profiling for the session restore stuff, so that we can then get profiles for session restore to figure out what these regressions are. That's one thing. The other thing that we might want to work on is fallout from the tabs and title bar refactor, because there have been two that I'm aware of, two bugs that have been filed that are fallout from this change. Both are Linux Linux specific, although no, I'm wrong. The first one is Linux specific, and the second one is Windows 8 specific. And this is what it looks like on Windows 8, where like all of a sudden the tab strip gets all crowded like this. So I will say for this one, I don't think I can work on this because I don't have a Windows 8 virtual machine here. I have one on a separate machine, but I can't bring it here. I can't stream it. So I'm going to take this one, but I'm not going to work on it during the stream. But I will take it, and I'll just add it to my bugs list. The bugs that I'm working on. I know, it looks like a bunch of bugs that I'm working on. Some of those I haven't touched in a long time. That's because they're not as important as the things I'm working on right now. And some of them might already be closed for other things, by other things. I should probably go through these. Some of them I haven't updated since like 2014, so I should probably clean these up and go through them. But I haven't yet. So that's one thing. I'm not going to work on that today. The other one that we might be able to work on is this Linux one, because I have a Linux VM that we can work with. Excuse me. And Martin Stransky, who works at Red Hat, let us know that my patch landed and there was a regression where the title bar is not going away. The title bar still appears here using the ambience theme. The title bar is visible. Is the problem that, so I'm not 100% certain what is supposed to occur with the ambience theme on Fedora with GNOME 3, whether or not the title bar is supposed to be visible or not. I was going to install ambience to see, but I'm pretty sure that this title bar style is not what is expected from GNOME. That's more of this is like more of an Ubuntu thing, and this is on a Fedora machine. So I think that might be the problem, or at least part of the problem. Although he says, the title bar itself is rendered by toolkit code and has the proper color. Rendered by toolkit code. Has the proper color. So I want to try and figure out what's going on there, but first thing I need to do is install the ambience theme. So I'm going to do that by, how am I going to do this? What's my plan? Well, I have my Ubuntu VM here. Let me boot this up. Now, Ubuntu is these days running GNOME 3, but this is not Fedora that I'm dealing with here. I don't necessarily on the stream want to set up Fedora. I don't want to have to set up a new virtual machine here if I don't have to. So what I'm really interested in is getting more information from Martin Stransky. Although he says like the problem is that the title bar is no longer hidden. That's the problem, he says. If any of my viewers are watching, ambience is the theme from the screenshot. Ooh. So if any of the people who are watching are maybe... ambience is the theme from the screenshot. So ambience is... If this is ambience, what I'm looking at right now, this is the link that I got from someone in the Twitch chat. Ambience is like Ubuntu's ambience, so it should kind of look like Ubuntu. So then why I mean, he's got like this transparent appearance on the top, maybe that's separate, and then like this toolbar is also transparent, which I'm not sure if that's the bug either. Does anyone know here what Ubuntu is supposed to, or what Firefox is supposed to look like right now, nightly, or what Firefox is supposed to look like right now in Fedora with the ambience theme? Because I'm very curious. I would like to know. because this tells me that something's wrong, certainly, but I don't know exactly what the target is. Near 94, you're my only hope. What's it supposed to look like? So like what I can do is I can pull in, I'm gonna strip all these patches that are on the top here because I don't need them anymore. And I'm gonna pull central and I'm gonna do an artifact build. You can't probably see what I'm writing, hold on. If anyone here is watching the stream and knows about Fedora and installing ambience, and maybe can show me a screenshot of what Firefox release looks like on Fedora with the ambience theme. So Smurfdy says, can't save for Fedora, but usually there's no menu bar and just the top. There's no menu bar and just the top. I mean, Martin might be running with the menu bar enabled by default. So can't save for certain, like the showing and the hiding of the menu bar I don't think would have been impacted by my changes. But it should say Mozilla Firefox in the top. Yeah, the title should actually be here. Okay. Well, let's pull central and update it, and then let's use does it not think I'm on the internet? Networking, the internet, network. How do I, no Wi-Fi adapter. It doesn't think I'm on the internet. Yeah. So how do I do this? Let's see here. Network. Let's see if I can like force it to notice network changes. I might have to restart my VM. Let's try that. No, don't upgrade and clean. All right, well, while we're waiting for that. Stop jobs running for session. Wow. This is unfortunate. Well, while we're waiting for that, let's look at something else. Let's look at our session store thing. So getting profiles to work on session store. I started to work on that already. And what I realized is that I need to, we have this script called Talos Profiler Parent, which is used by a bunch of our Talos tests to start profiling, basically to control the profiler if the profile is running. And what happened just recently? Okay, I remember where I was. I have converted that script from what it was before, which was a JS file, just this one-time script, and I've turned it into a JSM. So I converted it here to a JSM. And what I want to do now is to make that JSM available. And I'm trying to figure out how best to do that. Talos powers content. I'm actually, so before I had, I'm going to move it back just for simplicity's sake. HG move. I had moved the JSM out of the content folder, but I have a feeling that's going to add more complication. So I'm going to put it back and just see if turning it into a JSM works. So I've moved it back. And all the places that use the Talos parent profiler, instead of having them use this define lazy script getter, I'm going to have them use a lazy module getter. So for example, page loader, I'm going to say define lazy module getter. Say, hey, get that JSM. And here in the session restore one, which is, where's that test? We're here. I'm gonna say define lazy module getter. JSM. Oh, I could just put it in this list up here. Talos parent profiler. This is handy. And then I'll copy that. Good. And then the next step is to do CP startup. So define lazy module getter. There you go. And then damp.js. XPCOM utils. I'll just import it instead of using it as a lazy module getter. I'll say import Chrome utils.import that. And then tab paint. Lazy module getter. And what else? Tab switch. These are all tests. Talos parent. Say Chrome utils. Talos parent profiler. Great. So now let's see if we can get some profiles from some of our tests here. Let's run the TPS test, but let's run a very simple version of it. Let's reduce the number of pages that it needs to load. Talos test a TPS gecko profile I'll ask for, and then I'm going to say no download, so it doesn't re-download the TP5 set. And now what I will do is remove a bunch of these items from the list. So maybe we'll just only load these set. I think that'll work. Or is it TP5N or TP50? Let's find out. TPS uses TP50.html. Oh, so it's this one that I need to be messing with. So I'm gonna just do these. So let's see what happens now. Oh, Ubuntu started up. That's good. Let's see if it's on the internet. So sometimes when you start the Talos tests, it like refreshes its virtual environment, and that involves installing a bunch of stuff. Some of that information there didn't look too good, but we appear to be back. So the question is, are we on the internet? That's what I want to know. Yay, we are. So let's pull central and up to date it. Get up to date. Move, Mercurial, get up to date. Get up to date, Mercurial, get up to date. Wow, this is taking forever. Okay, now it's finally starting to run the test. And it failed out for some reason. This .talos powers is undefined inside the page loader extension. Talos powers is undefined in profiler begin. In Talos parent profiler, this dot in profiler begin. This dot Talos powers is undefined. Oh, let's capitalize that T. I think everything else here is using capital T. Yeah, all right. Case sensitive. Let's try that again. Nice and calm. Everything's okay. We're going to get through this. We're going to solve this problem. Here, we got further than we did before. That's good. And it looks like the test is running. And now it's doing the switches. And now, I guess it dumped a profile. We'll find out shortly. I don't know how many of these test runs it's actually going to do. Hopefully not too many. I probably should have told it to only do, oh good, it's only doing 2. Now let's see if it produced a useful profile. Now part of the step here is to actually symbolicate the profile. That can take a couple of seconds here. So we're just going to wait for it to figure itself out. In the meantime, how's our Linux VM doing? Remind me about this stuff later. Almost done. Updating to tip. Great. Great, we updated to tip. Now I'm going to, am I using an artifact build? Yes, I am. I'm going to build my artifact build. Good. It looks like the symbolication is taking place. to clobber and build, apparently. And it's adding a whole like test run here. I don't want another one. So let's quit. No, not the terminal. Let's quit the browser. And I'm going to open up this zip file, and we're going to see if we've got a useful profile in there. And if we do, we've got ourselves a candidate patch. So I'm going to open up perf.html. You know, I'm thinking now that that browser that was about to open up was probably just going to open up the profiles that I had just saved, because I think that's a new feature that they added. So this looks a lot more useful than what we were gathering before. The main thread, let's look at the marker chart, start, stop. Yeah, this looks like exactly what we want. So this is good. We got TPS working because it wasn't working with my previous attempt at fixing this. So now let's see if the session restore stuff can work on top of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to amend this patch, and then I have to rebase this stuff. Like, this is a previous attempt at fixing what I was doing before, or fixing the problem before, where instead of making Talos Parent Profiler a JSM, I tried to change some of the initial state of the Talos Parent Profiler script. But the problem is that there are certain Talosy things that all get their own, would then all get their own individual copies of Talos Parent Profiler, and they'd all get out of sync. And that's why making it a JSM is best in the parent process, because we desperately want them all to be in agreement. Otherwise, you get really strange results. Ooh, got some linting errors here. Please use Chrome utils. Oh, good. Good. Linting is helping. So let's fix those problems. Let's open up this file. Linting is telling us that instead of using xpcom utils, we should use Chrome utils. We'll do that there and here. I love it when automation helps. Is there anything? Nothing else is using xpcom utils in here. We can actually get rid of that now. That's nice. Was anything still using xpcom utils in here? Yes. This is using xpcom utils. Or wait, in the other one, which was this file, was anything still using xpcom utils there? No, nothing is using xpcom utils in here. So we can get rid of that. And then over here, Stab M says, the joy of coding YouTube stream is lagging. Is it just me? Good question. Are there any other people watching this on YouTube and they're noticing dropped frames or low frame rate? I'm not actually, so I'm streaming directly to, I'm multicasting here, and it's possible that the multicasting service I'm using, which is AirMozilla 2, isn't connected nicely to YouTube. Let's take a look at the dashboard. What's the health? Health is yellow. Health is yellow. So video output is low, lower than the recommended bit rate. So apparently I need to up my bit rate on my stream. Maybe I'll talk to the people who are in charge of AirMozilla about that, to increase, to essentially double my bit rate. All right. There's a question that came from IRC, and Stab M asks, what's an artifact build? Great question. So an artifact build is a much, so normally when you build Firefox, it takes a long time because we have to turn a bunch of C++ into a bunch of binary files, and then link all those binaries together. On top of that, there's a bunch of JavaScript and CSS and Zool that needs to be packaged up and put into a zip file. so that the C++ can like read it and render the UI and stuff. What we realized is that a lot of times developers only care about the stuff in the zip files, like the front end stuff, the JavaScript, the Zool, the HTML, the CSS. So front end hackers who aren't touching C++ don't like it. It seems silly to have to make them build all of the C++ in order to hack on the what's called the packaged stuff. And so we developed this new system called artifact builds, where when you build in the artifact build configuration, which you can get instructions on how to do that by using mock bootstrap, and then one of the things it'll ask you is like, what type of Firefox do you want to build? And you ask, I want Firefox for desktop in artifact mode. And it will give you instructions on how to do artifact builds. What it'll do is it will look for the appropriate binaries in automation that are associated with the revision that you're on. So it will go, instead of building the binaries locally, it'll go download them from when our automation built it in Tree, in like Tree Herder and the Mozilla CI stuff. It'll go download those binary artifacts so that you don't have to build them. And instead, it'll download that stuff, and then it will package up the local JavaScript, Zool, HTML, and CSS, put those together, and you have a Firefox build. And that's called an artifact build. What that means is when you're using an artifact build, you can't change C++ and have it manifest. You can change the CSS, the JavaScript, the Zool, the HTML, and it will take place. But you can't modify any of the native code. So that's the difference. That's the trade-off. But the nice thing is we can build an artifact build really quickly. So it took me less than 4 minutes on a VM on a machine that's already kind of encumbered to build an artifact build. It's usually faster. On your host system, an artifact build is usually very, very quick. So where was I? I want to test to see whether or not xpcomutils is needed here. And yeah, we want to use Chrome utils instead. And then is xpcomutils being used at all? It is not, so I can actually just get rid of that line entirely. And now I'm going to amend. Hopefully that answered your question. Stab M. Great to hear from you. One second, just making sure that nothing serious has arrived in my inbox while we amend here. All right. So now, now that we've passed lint, everything's okay. I want to rebase the other part of my old fix on top of the current one. I'm actually going to up the font a little so you can more easily see what I'm doing. I'm also going to reset because I like to see my cursor. No, not HD reset. Terminal reset. There, I like to see that little white block. This change is what I want on top of tip, and this one we can get rid of. This was my old attempt to make the Talos parent profiler state be different for every version of the script, and that didn't pan out. I pushed it to try, and some of the tests didn't properly profile stuff. So I think we can get rid of this attempt at it. And then that's merging. My computer's being a little bit slow because I'm streaming and because I am building or because I've got a VM running here. So sorry about that. It's not normally this slow. There's just a lot going on. My CPU is pretty maxed out. I can prune this, and I'm going to update to tip. StabM says, perfect, thanks. Hey, no problem, StabM. No problem. Sorry, I didn't mean to be so excited when I said I'm trying to be more calm today. So I'm trying to really relax. Hey, everyone just chill out. Just be cool, everybody. Be cool. This is the file I need to modify still. Talus parent profiler. Oh, you know what? I don't need to modify it. That should just kind of work out. Right? Yeah. I think that'll just work out. And then Talus parent profile. Yeah, that should just work out. It merged very nicely just now. So let us see whether or not we can now get profiles from the session store test. I'm only gonna have it do one run because by default it does a whole bunch. So instead of 10 cycles, I'll have it do 1 cycle. All right. Do it. Now, normally, yeah, there's a bit of a waiting game there. It's symbolicating. And now it's opening up another browser, but I have a feeling that browser is to view the profiles. That's right, that's how it works. So now it's loading the profile from the zip file. It's very clever how this works. It's like running a server and stuff. It's so neat. And yeah, it looks like we got ourselves a nice profile here. Where, you know, this is from the startup of the browser right here. We've got like the main of the main function is entered and like all of these things that happen during startup, and then we run the where is session restore, init happens here, and then I guess we decide that session restored is here, and then we finish loading all the tabs at some point, and then we end the test. I don't exactly remember how the whole thing works, but that is what's going on. And are there any new tab? Filter and markers. No, I want to filter the tree. New tab. Okay, so there is a third content process that is doing stuff. It's doing stuff. Not to ruin the Zen. Sweet. That's not ruining the Zen at all, Smurf D. It sounds like you've totally like rocked it. So Smurf D says, not to ruin the Zen. You didn't ruin the Zen. You're a great person, Smurf D, and I really appreciate you being here. He says, finally found out how you install the ambience theme in Ubuntu. Sudo apt install light themes. So I'm going to install that. We're going to do that over here. See, this is why I love having you watch me stream. I'm learning stuff. Oh, light themes is already the newest version. I already have it. So maybe I need to maybe I'm already using it. Or is it supposed to be ambience light? Let's take a look at what Firefox looks like. All right, that looks okay. And then if I were to turn off the title bar, that looks okay. Ugh, some bugs though, and how that works. Yeah, that's why it's not default right now, the disabled tabs and title bar. Now, what's the dealio? If I set like, can I say like theme appearance? Would that be it? Settings. No, that's not it. Where's like appearance settings? It's been a while since I've done this. Applications. Search for tweaks. Ooh, tweaks. All right, tweaks. No dice, Smurf D. I'm not seeing any tweaks. Maybe. Nope. What do we have though? All of these things. Settings. You'd think it'd be in settings. The different theme selections. I don't really want to have to like. I don't really want to have to look this up on the internet, but would it be background? No. Talk. Set ambience theme. GNOME tweak to change themes. Oh. Sudo apt install GNOME tweaks. Alright, I have to install a GNOME tweaks. So let's do that. Unable to locate the package GNOME tweaks. GNOME tweaks. That's how to install. Updated theme. Radiance GTK themes feature, but you don't want to see updated Radiance can download. The gift shows how much difference. Drop shadows. If you're running Ubuntu, you can download your themes package. Keep in mind, we're not talking about upgrading prior to the system. Yeah, how do you set the theme? Ubuntu set theme. Install the GNOME tweak tool. GNOME tweak tool. Let's try that. GNOME tweak tool. Hey, now we're talking. It's fetching something. I might have this tweak tool on its way, Smurf D. How to install tweak tool on Bionic Beaver. So other people, there's people in the Twitch chat coaching me as well. Thank you. So let's see. GNOME tweak tool. GNOME tweak tool. Okay. Using ambiance. So I am using ambience. So I don't really know what I need to do in order to reproduce Martin's issue here. He's like, major regression for Fedora 29 GNOME Shell ambience theme. Things are going wrong. The title bar is visible. Yes, perhaps there's too much space above the tabs. Perhaps there's too much space above the tabs. Well, no, that's because there's a menu here. Yes, but the transparent area is a background of drag area space, in my honest opinion. The title bar itself is rendered by toolkit code and has the proper color. I'm starting to think that I might just need to install Fedora. and find out what's going on here. What the F? Well, I don't want to install Fedora here on this stream. That's going to be boring. Let's go back to our session restore thing. This patch looks like it's working. The set of patches that are getting our profiles. So let's get these polished up, push to try, and also get them up for review. There were a couple of other things that use the Talos parent profiler. Maybe I'll wait to get actual review on these patches until I've done a push to try and made sure that all of the tests still run and can run with profiling. So what I'll do is I will push to try. I did one of those yesterday actually, and so I'll use the same try syntax. I could have just copied this. And I can do an artifact build. That's nice. So I'm going to push to try. So yeah, you can do artifact builds when pushing to try as well. That really speeds up the try push. I'm going to do it without Gecko profiler first. So no profiling. And I'll do one with profiling. Pushing to try, then we'll do one with profiling. Now what are we going to do about this Linux business? Maybe I just need to bite the bullet and get a copy of Fedora. How much? I got 33 gigs available. All right, let's, what version of Fedora was it? Fedora 29. Is that the newest one? Because I know that Red Hat just released Fedora 29. It is the new one, October 30th. Okay, so let's get a copy of that. Install, get Fedora. That's what we want. So I'm going to shut this puppy down. Don't need you anymore. And I'm going to create a new virtual machine. And I need to download an image. Workstation. I'll assume it's workstation. Wait, what was Atomic? Best platform, Linux, Docker, Kubernetes, application stack. No, let's do workstation. Space. Okay, I want a 64-bit live image. Okay, save the file, download the Fedora, put it in projects. I'll put it on my desktop for now. How long is that going to take? Whoa. That was a window bug. Panel bug. That happens sometimes whenever we've got multiple displays. I think it's a caching issue. This is actually going to complete pretty quickly. So maybe I'll even get maybe I will even get an artifact build with ambience going on this Fedora box before the episode's done. Okay, that's my new goal. See if we can get Fedora up and running. And meanwhile, we've got our push here. Let's do a different push. Now we're going to do one that does with profiling. So basically just going to copy this entire message with profiling. So we need to wait for this. We need to wait for this image to download, and then we can set up our VM. Yeah, downloading a pretty good clip. Office Wi-Fi is pretty solid, except I'm on the wired network. But 19 to 20 megs per second, pretty cool. Pretty cool. That's some fast internet. Come on now. Get that download. Few seconds remaining. Done. Okay. So let's see here. Install from disk or image. Drag your ISO from here. I'm going to drag it to here. Fedora. Customize. I'm going to give it more memory. Whoopsie daisy. Default for each click on this to run. Customize settings. Save as. Yeah. I want to customize it. Okay, great. I want to increase the memory to about 4 gigs. And give it 4 cores. All right, boot you up. Oh boy. Test this media and start Fedora Workstation Live 29. Let's just start. That's not a good sign. But who knows? It's the first time. Maybe it's doing some very important things. Old Fedora. Hey, all right. Some activity. I'm just going to put this over here. And we'll go back over here. Our push completed. Let's take a look at those baking on try. Both of them are here. Or no, just the one. This is the one from yesterday. This is the one that failed. For the people who are wondering about like why didn't that other idea work, it worked in some cases, but for the TPS tests, I wasn't getting useful profiles. So that's why like the profiles were basically empty. So that's why I switched my tactics. So no profiling, then with profiling. We'll see how that works. I could put these up for review. Oh, there's one last thing I want to do actually though, is I want to add another patch. There's a leftover file inside the session restore test that I found that's not actually being used, this main.js file. If you check Searchfox, it's not actually being used anywhere. Except by this index.html file, which is also not being used. Session restore index.html. Not actually being used. Talos session.py. No, it's not being used. So I can get rid of those 2 files, I think. And I'll make sure that I can continue to run the test. So I'll hgrm browser. No, it's testing Talos startup test session add-on content. I can just get rid of the entire content directory. And does it try and add a content directory? API content. No, it doesn't. So I think we can just full-blown get rid of this directory. Meanwhile, hey, Fedora, install. I hope I set up enough hard drive for it. 20 gigs. That should be pretty good. But hopefully it's enough. Maybe I should have given it more. We'll see. Yep, sounds good. Continue. Installation destination automatic, partitioning selected. Okay. Yep. Please complete items marked with this icon. That. Yep. Local standard disks. Select the device you'd like to install to. That one. Okay. Done. Wow, the responsiveness here is pretty brutal. I don't know if that's VMware's fault or Fedora's fault, but responsiveness here is horrendous. Not to complain too much, I realize performance is hard. What? No, now it's saving the storage configuration. Okay, great. Begin. So while that's installing, those things got removed. Let's make sure we can still run our session restore test. I'm gonna again make this thing only do 1 cycle instead of 10. How's the Zen, people? Nice and calm, relaxed, like a pond with a lotus flower sitting on a leaf, floating, and there's a duck nearby, but the duck's asleep. The duck is like very fluffy, and there are smaller ducklings nearby, and they're all asleep, and everyone's really calm. That's what we're trying to go for here. What else is in this lake? There's a fishing float, but it's not attached to a fishing rod, but it's just bobbing along kind of under the water. There's no hook, there's no worm, but it's just a float, just hanging out, just going by. That's nice and calm. That's a calm thing to think about. That's probably my favorite part of fishing. I don't like catching fish, nor do I like eating fish, or putting worms on hooks. I just like sitting in a boat and looking at a fishing bob or a little floater. I enjoy that. Just kind of spacing out, looking at the water. So this appeared to run correctly. So I'm confident that we didn't actually need those files. So we're going to put that up as the third patch. So the first patch is turn Talos parent profile into a JSM. Smurfy says, and then the Loch Ness Monster appears to wreck the... But it's a calm Loch Ness Monster. Like the Loch Ness Monster is wearing one of those like sleeping hats with like stocking cap. And it's very relaxed. And it's got like a little candle and it's going by like, hey, do you need any tea or cookies? And I go, hey, it's cool. I'm just watching this fishing float. And then the Loch Ness Monster goes, okay, I'll be over here. And it swims away. Nessie, she swims away, and everything's really calm. So yeah, that worked out nicely. Profile looks legit. So close this down, commit this. What was the bug number again for this work? Commit bug such and such. Remove dead code from session restore Talos tests. Ask Andrew Swan for review. Wow, installing Fedora. I never thought I'd be here again. Believe it or not, fun fact, Fedora was my very first Linux distro. Very first. Unless you count Knoppix. Knoppix was like this thing that you could install. It wouldn't even install. You just boot it off a disk. And then I don't think it was ever intended to be installed on your hard drive. I think it was supposed to be like a live boot operating system. And then I switched to Fedora. I had a partition of Fedora petition, and what didn't I like about it? At the time, it was okay, but I think I didn't like how the update management worked. Believe it or not, the thing that really drew me to Ubuntu back when I was in school was there was like a screenshot, I think, of the little thing back when it was using like GNOME 2, saying like there are updates available and you can do that now. And I thought that was for some reason exciting, because I guess at the time Fedora didn't do that. StabM says, next episode you should just be calm and tell some Nessie stories for a whole episode. Sure. I could do that. While we're waiting for things, just tell some Nessie stories. Why is this commit taking so long? I'll bet my disk is just getting wrecked because I'm installing an operating system and a VM at the same time I'm trying to do some Mercurial stuff. Neither of which are very nice to my hard drive, which is I don't believe I'm using a solid state drive. I think I've got I don't think it's an SSD. At least it doesn't act like one. Oh, Mac OS. Okay, so this is, it was actually just linting. That was the problem. It wasn't writing to the disk. Okay, so now I can probably push these things up to Fabricator. I'm gonna well, maybe I shouldn't, because things are exploding whenever I don't do profiling. Things are exploding over here, or whenever I use profiling. And now, what's the explosion? What's the problem? Could not. What the hell's going on here? Let's take a look at just one of these. Instead of TPS, let's look at this test log. See if there's anything interesting in here. You know what I'm actually going to look for is Talos parent. Page loader exception. Reference error. Talos parent profiler is not defined in the page loader. Page loader extension. What? Why would that be? Where's page loader? Define lazy module getter, Talos powers, Talos parent profiler. That's what I used elsewhere. So I think there might be a race here. Startup. This is async, but we're deliberately not waiting or returning it here since it doesn't block extension startup. Let's start. So there are a couple of other places that need to wait for Talos powers to be available. And I'm trying to remember how that worked. I expect there are a couple of places where there's like a ping and a pong. CP startup ping. How does that work? see how other places where he did it. But like this is blowing up. This is going horribly wrong. So I'm glad I pushed it to try and didn't necessarily push it for review. This is exploding. Also, how's our install going? 66%, pretty good. So let's figure out how A-Swan did some of this stuff in other places. Testing, Talos, grab, ping. Talos powers content. Ping, Pong. Talos powers. Try ping. The Talos powers Chrome event messages are set asynchronously during startup, so attempts to use this code too early may race against the extension initialization. Code that might be vulnerable to that race can use await Talos powers load promise, which waits until it can successfully exchange a simple ping message with the extension. Talos powers load promise. That's not exactly right. That's more like it's waiting for the content. The content might be waiting. But those are intermittent errors, right? How are you sure they have to do with this change? Well, these oranges, orange doesn't necessarily mean intermittent. Orange means failure. Intermittent is when they're sometimes orange and sometimes green. These ones are all just solid orange. And like it says here at the bottom, it's trying to match them to potential intermittents, but they're all closed. They have strike-throughs through them. And because they're all lit up, that's what makes me think that they're part of this change. Like everything is lit up here. So the chances of these all being intermittent failures, very slim in my books. So that's why I think it's part of this change. Frame scripts, pinging. So maybe I should ask A-Swan about this. Just responding to a message in, I know at least some of our crash reporting. I'm just answering a question from someone else. Crash reporting code uses off main thread IO. But something as old as about crashes, it wouldn't surprise me if it's still talking to the disk thread. So the other person I want to talk to is A-Swan. A-Swan is the fellow who's going to be reviewing this stuff. Hi-oh. Hey-oh. So with the new web extension World of Talos add-ons, is it true that page loader early in its life cycle has no guarantees that Talos powers is already loaded? like, there's no real guaranteed. Oh, there might be. This is why you were doing all of the, well, let me wait for him to respond there. Like, I can I can hack around this inside page loader by not starting. Yes, we have a couple ways that individual testing Talos powers can find out when it has been loaded. Right, I've seen those. They use your some pinging and some timeouts. But how about things like page loader, which runs in the parent process? Do you have any example code or infrastructure set up where the scripts in the parent process wait for Talos powers to become available? So one thing I could do is I could, like, I'm just gonna make something up here. I could, like, cu dot chrome utils dot import Talos powers Talos parent profiler dot JSM. I don't think anything does that right now. Let me take a quick look though. So I could, like, keep doing that periodically, like every couple of 100 milliseconds, and then if it fails, just queue up another wait. Like this one does racing, and if it fails, then we set timeout, go for 500. So I could probably reuse some of this infrastructure. You promise, reject, set timeout. I think we have access to, maybe, maybe not. Nope. I'm gonna need to update this, and then, but I can reuse some as try ping. What it'll do is instead of using ping, it's going to try and import. Timeout promise. That'll reject. This will reject in 500 milliseconds. This one will just, like, never resolve. That's what's going on. So what I should do here. Do nothing. Let the timeout promise beat us, and we'll try importing again later. So A-Swan says, "We don't have anything good for putting two different experiments rendezvous with each other. I think page loader used to immediately import. I switched to delayed script error so that I wouldn't try to load until later, but of course there's still a race. That's okay. I think I can adapt the content mechanism for the parent process. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't reinventing the wheel." The good news is that I have profiles coming out of session restore now. So Talos Powers is a separate web extension that may or may not already have finished loading. We expose an object here called Talos Powers. Try ping. Get try ping. Right. We're really not waiting or returning it here. This is async, but we're deliberately not awaiting or returning it here since it doesn't block it. What does that mean? Did I review that comment? I did. This is async, but we're deliberately... Oh, Talos start is async. Yeah, okay. Talos start. Talos start is async, but we're deliberately not waiting or returning it here since it doesn't block extension startup. Okay. May or may not. We expose an object here called, we expose this function, no, not an object, try ping. All roads from smurfd, excuse me, all roads lead back to you. Yeah, sometimes that's the problem, is me. I was the blame. I'm to blame. I'm to blame for all the problems. Try ping can be used to wait for Talos Powers to be around before continuing. So we try and import the Talos parent profiler. We'll race, and so what we'll do is we'll say try ping, then Talos start. Let's try that. Let's go back to our try push. A bunch of this stuff is blowing up. TPS, for example, not having it. I suspect it's the same problem. We pull up the log. Let's pull up the raw log. Parent unexpected. What's the problem? Why are you failing out? Aborting task. Due to what? It timed out. That's in the no profiling case, so I better make sure that that still works. And in the profiling case, Talos parent profiler is not defined. Okay, so what do we do here? Let's make sure that this works. So I need a good page loader test. I think TPS is a page loader test. Test up class TPS is a page loader test, so I'll use that. Commit bug such and such. Make page loader tests wait for Talos powers to become available before starting. So let's see if this works. I'm going to try running TPS again using the same small set of pages. Smurfy's like, I know the feeling. I assume you're referring to being to blame for everything. Yeah. That's life. Okay, Fedora is successfully installed. Hey, all right. Let's restart the computer, the VM. Or can I just use it? Am I just good to go here? I might just be good to go here. Maybe from here I have to like install ambience. Theme. Tweak. Nope. I guess I better use the terminal. Oh, is this the live OS? All right, time to restart. Start and eject the media. I guess I should. Where's the CD? Can I eject? Let's lock the CD door. Eject the. No, don't override the lock. I'm just going to restart the machine. Virtual machine. Rebooting. Okay, now I can maybe disconnect the DVD. There we go. Popped out the CD-ROM. The make-believe one. I didn't even create an account. How does... Is Fedora going to ask me? Because I haven't even set up an account. I remember Ubuntu making me do that at the start. Sweet loading logo there, Fedora. Sweet. I've always actually really enjoyed the Fedora logo, the infinity and the F. I've always really enjoyed that. Okie dokie. So what account am I using? Do I have special powers? Like, it hasn't asked me anything about myself. Very interesting. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, let's go up a whole bunch and run that command. Oh, now it's going to ask some questions. Oh, please tell me that it hasn't actually chosen that as my language. We'll see. Must say though. Oh, good. Welcome. That's what. Is this how I choose my language? I hope not. We wait for the right welcome message to appear. That would be a nightmare. Oh, I think I'm screwing up here. I got a feeling page loader is like not running just yet because infinite recursion? Maybe infinite recursion. Let's stop the browser. Infinite recursion. It's okay to have infinite recursion. If that's your thing, that's cool. Dump. Trying to ping for Talos parent. Talos powers. Dump. Trying to import Talos parent profiler.jsm. Got it. No Talos parent profiler. So it doesn't resolve this one. Timeout promises set timeout in 500 milliseconds. Instead of just rejecting, I'm going to say dump timed out, and then I'm going to reject. Dump waiting for either Talos powers or timeout. Failed. Trying again. Total timeout. Dump. Returning null from try-ping. Starting Talos. Starting page loader. So lots of logging now. Let's run it again. Because actually, I'd normally run this, I'd try and figure this out with a debugger, but hooking up the debugger to Talos is actually really hard. I tried doing it yesterday to solve some of these problems, and it was really difficult. Because there's like a bunch of code that's like trying to ensure that it doesn't time out, and when you're digging around in a debugger, it's very easy for it to, oh boy, yeah, recursion. Okay, let's look at the messages. No Talos parent profiler, waiting for either Talos powers or timeout, failed. Set timeout is not defined. That's what's going on. There's no such thing as set timeout. So that's my problem. Timer.jsm is how we implement set timeout and set interval inside these sort of scopes without DOM. Hey, all right. Wait, no, it exploded. Timed out. Talos parent profiler is not defined. Trying to ping for Talos powers, trying to import no Talos powers profile. Waiting for other Talos powers timeout. Timed out. Failed total time. Trying again. Trying to ping for Talos powers. Got it. Oh, it gets it. Returning null. Starting page loader. Reference error. Talos parent profiler is not defined. What the hell? Did I just give it the wrong page loader? Talos parent profiler. Lazy module getter. It should be here. What? reference error. Talos parent profiler is not defined. How could that be if it's available, yo? Unless... I mean, it's used elsewhere. We used it in Session Store, and it worked out okay. Define lazy module getters. Talos start. Opens that window, loads pageloader.zool, which loads pageloader.js, which attempts to, maybe instead of defining a lazy module getter, I'm going to go Chrome utils import resource tree Talos powers Talos parent profiler.jsm. Try catch dump. Strangely can't find Talos parent profiler. Otherwise, dump. Hey, success. Garbage logging. Real good now. Jeez. I think this other browser can go away. That's from before. Hey, success. All right, now it's working. So using define lazy module getter, it didn't like it. Straight up importing it, it's fine with it. What? Why would that be? Why would that be? Okay. Oh. My phone says, time to stop this stream soon. All right. Well, we got somewhere, must say. Where are we here? Privacy, location services. Sure. Sure. Next. Skip. Full name. Mike Conley. M. Conley. Password. It's only mildly. It's probably not long enough. But that'll do. It's just a VM. It's not one of my serious passwords. Okay. All right. Am I on the computer now? So this worked, although it worked before too. I think it's really non-deterministic when it will fail. And now we're making it wait. So F it. I don't know why importing lazily would be such a problem unless define lazy module getter. How does that work? Chrome utils. Oh, define lazy module. Specify object module. Define the module. Define module getter. Chrome utils. Well, F it. I'm not gonna spend too much time trying to figure it out. That's probably fine. Don't need that. I don't know why page loader needs it, but screw it. So now we have this really hard dependency here. I'm gonna get rid of all this silly logging. We can just reject now. All right, let's do this one more time. Make sure it works. Close this. Now I want to install GNOME tweaks. Tools. GNOME tweaks. It's a really slow VM. Hey, what are you gonna do? Let's get our terminal on. Where's terminal? Oh my goodness, where's terminal? Give me some bash. There it is. That's what I need. Okay. I'm trying to remember how one installs things on Fedora. Apt? Nope. Yank? There was some kind of was it yeah? How do you install things? It's different on Fedora. Fedora package manager. My computer's so slow right now. RPM. Yum, that's what it's called. Yum. That's right. Yum install GNOME tweaks tool. Has to be run. Okay, yum install GNOME tweaks tool. With great power comes great responsibility. Yep. That's cool. All right, so this appears to be working. Let's shut her down. Let's shut her down, and let's try pushing this new stuff to try, and then we'll end the stream. Tom Prince is like DNF. How to install tweak tool. DNF. Do not. I don't know what that would mean, Tom Prince. Do not. DNR is do not resuscitate. That's what I know. Oh, I guess I turned that into a one-liner. It still worked, but I'm gonna put it back. Just DNF is a package manager on Fedora. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Thank you, Tom Prince. Sorry, I misread what you were saying. Okay, so let's push this stuff to try and see what old automation-y thinks. Old CI. Tom Prince goes, no worries. That's why I like you, Tom Prince. You're so relaxed, so chill. Because that's what this episode's all about, being pretty relaxed. Do I have any relaxing sounds to play? This is probably the most relaxing sound I have.
Oh, yeah.
That's the most relaxing sound in the bag. When I push to try, there are no possibilities to screw something up for someone else? No. Every try push is an individual constellation of builds and test runs that don't intersect with other people unless they care about that exact same revision, which is pretty rare. They might only care about it if we're working on the same issue, in which case the try push is something we can both look at. So no, it doesn't interfere with other people. It's going to a repository, CI spins up for it, but it never reaches like the main repository or anything. So let's push to try. No profiling and then profiling. And this might only solve some of it. There might be other places that also, like, are these all due to page loader tests? It might be. Like basic compositor, is that a page loader test? Let's find out. Compositor is a page loader test. Okay, that makes me feel a bit better. And if all of these are page loader tests, we might have just fixed them all. We shall see. We shall see. Yes. No match for GNOME Tweaks tool. Maybe it's just GNOME Tweaks. Fedora. Install ambience. The other thing I need to do, yeah, I want to install that. The other thing I need to do is I need to get a clone of Mozilla Central. And I need to set up an artifact build. Do I have Mercurial? Nope. Better get Mercurial. Yay, GNOME Tweaks. No, and I don't want to install from there. What instead I'm going to do is Python bootstrap.py Mozilla Linux build prep. mkdir projects, C projects, cd Mozilla. I'm going to say download the bootstrap py. Python bootstrap. What? Install package Python unversioned command. No, I want Python. What? Debian. Sudo yum install Python. And I need 2.7. Is this going to give me 3? Please have it confirm. Python 2, yeah. Sure. That looks good. Do it. Meanwhile, how'd that push go? Went really well. Let's do this other push and then let's call the episode there. This one with profiling. Python. Okay, now let's run our bootstrap. I want to build Firefox for desktop artifact mode. It's so smart. It switched to using DNF. The bootstrap.py knows that I'm on Fedora, and so it's using DNF. Our build people are pretty awesome. Getting a whole bunch of useful stuff, making sure that it's not corrupted, installing and upgrading, and who knows what's going on there. Fedora. Bison and Flex. Awesome. What's going on here? Mercurial? It's just there's so much going on, I think. Just a lot of going on. Verifying. Now it's running other stuff. I don't remember it asking me for my password, but maybe it did. I'll have to rewatch the video. But it's doing a lot of stuff that only admins can do. Okay, finally. Oh, the linting just took 5 ever, and now we're pushing to try. Great. Superb. Make sure I'm not late for anything. We're going a bit long here. We're okay. Yeah, I guess. Sure. Install everything. Why aren't you doing this all at once is what I want to know. Instead of, like, asking me a bunch of times. All right. This push to try is almost done, and then we're going to stop the episode. Hey, I need to calm down. We need to be relaxed. This is a relaxed episode. Super relaxed. You had just previously used sudo for installing Python. You used a sudo. Oh, I see. So my credentials were still in memory. I bet sudo is caching your password on that terminal for 5 minutes. Yeah, I didn't do sudo bootstrap. According to SmurfD in the live hacking IRC channel on irc.mozilla.org, I used sudo to install Python, and so it was still probably in memory. So that's what's going on. Hey, our push to try is done. This episode also, therefore, is done. Thank you so much for watching episode 156 of The Joy of Coding. Lots going on, but we got this Talos stuff kind of out of the way. Didn't end up writing too much code, but a bit. You know, we got some patches. It was mostly some gymnastics and dealing with Fedora, but we'll see how it goes. Follow along in the bugs that I linked to in the agenda if you're curious. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure I linked them. If I don't, I've got the session restore in there. I'll add the one for Linux as well. Linux title bar is no longer hidden, so you can follow along here. And yeah, thank you so much for watching episode 156 of The Joy of Coding. I hope that was interesting. I hope that was useful. If this was your first time watching, I was trying something new today by remaining a little bit calmer than I normally am. Normally I'm a little more animated, and I tried to make a little more, a bit of a zen, relaxed atmosphere. Let me know what you thought. There is a link here in the agenda to rate the episode and let me know what you thought. I'd love to hear it. I read everything that comes in, and I'd love to hear from you. Again, so thank you so much for watching. Whoops, that was a really abrupt ending. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.